Xi Jinping continues to course correct towards pragmatism, that it will work, because the reason that the economy is growing much more slowly than it should be is a lack of confidence on the part of entrepreneurs, on the part of consumers. And what we've seen in the last 6 months is that when Xi Jinping does the right thing, Chinese are responding. So, for example, the steady downturn in the property market has stopped and stabilized as a result of this. We've seen with the results from Alibaba that internet platform companies have come back. We've seen video games come back. So people do listen to him because he does control the regulatory environment. So yeah, I believe that if he continues to move in this direction, there will be a response. And then the other point that I've been making many times, including on your show, is that when confidence comes back, they don't need a big fiscal stimulus because there's a tremendous amount of liquidity waiting to be used in the Chinese economy. Household bank accounts, which include a lot of very small business accounts, have increased by almost 90% since the start of the pandemic. That's a net expansion in those bank deposits equal to almost 10 trillion US dollars. To put that in context, that's more than double the size of Japan's GDP. So when people get their confidence back, you'll start to see entrepreneurs hiring again, investing in their own business. That will lead to the virtuous cycle of wages growing more rapidly, and then you'll see consumption pick up again as well, I believe.
Yeah, we've just sort of come out of the Chinese bonus season as well, Andy, and that's been quite telling of, where some of these companies are at with regards to the employment picture, how much they are willing to spend. How are the MNCs feeling about the environment over in China right now with all of that in mind, particularly because, it seems to be a case of quite different to what we were talking about even 10, sort of 20 years ago, coming in and setting up a factory and then sort of exporting your products back home. But now some of these MNCs really trying to play a role in the Chinese growth story. But, they are competing with a very sort of saturated market in areas like EVs. Look, we've had this AI breakthrough now with DeepSeek, which has been interesting. But if you look at across the sectors, it really is a price war being carried out, a sort of race to the bottom. And there seems to be sort of this thinking that not a lot of these companies really care about profits at this stage, particularly given the private sector and the confidence deficit that we've seen there. So, I'm just curious to get your thoughts, given you speak to so many companies, what sort of challenges they're facing in China right now, and whether they do believe that it's different this time around.
I think the environment is going to remain very difficult for foreign companies in China. And a lot of that is due to the fact that they have just moved and innovated too slowly in China and haven't been able to keep pace with Chinese companies in a wide range of sectors. So I think the days when foreign investors could say, I don't understand or I don't trust Chinese companies and I want to benefit in the growth in China by investing in multinationals that are doing a significant share of their business in China, I think it's going to be increasingly difficult for foreign investors to play China that way. And investors really need to focus on Chinese companies that respect minority investors. For example, if you're really nervous about Chinese companies, look at companies that pay dividends. But the EV sector is a great example of this. Foreign automakers have just almost abandoned EVs in their home countries, while in China, buyers are almost exclusively buying EVs now. And so it's going to be really difficult to recover from that. But also remember that as foreign investors, we don't have to invest in the China market. There's over 5,000 listed Chinese companies, but for most investors, finding 10 or 20 or 30 good Chinese companies is adequate. And remember, this is the second largest consumer market in the world already, and the fastest growing consumer market in the world.